Hello, everyone. We are going to get started here in just 2 more minutes. Thank you guys for joining for another class with me. Very honored to have you guys back. Yeah, we'll get going in a couple more minutes. I hope that everyone is doing well. Thank you guys for sticking it out at home and continuing to work hard and doing everything that you guys do. I'm grateful to have you guys and to be able to continue teaching as well. So thank you so much for the support, and I'm looking forward to the day when we can get back to doing these classes in person. But for now, just really enjoying that I can still offer some class time for you guys, and hoping you're enjoying those and enjoying the time to just take a little break from work. So I'm going to try to stick today's class a little bit shorter than we have been previously. I know you guys, even though you're taking your lunch break, that it's easy to kind of get, need to get to the next thing. So I'm going to try to stick to about closer to 15 minutes today, hopefully. For today's class, we'll just need one block, that's all. So you can run and grab that something along those lines real quick if you need to. That's the only prop we'll be using today. So anything like a large book or some type of sturdy box of similar height. This thing's probably about 6 inches high. So anything along those lines would be great. You can also just use a pillow as like a more firm pillow or thicker pillow would work as well. So we're going to get started in about 1 more minute here. So go ahead and get comfy and make sure you have a block with you. So today's class is going to be focusing on helping to just clear up any stuckness we might feel in the joints, and especially trying to stretch out and lengthen the back line of connective tissue through our body, which is, probably pretty tight feeling lately, and just probably feeling a little congested in our bodies in general as we continue to sit for prolonged periods of time or not just be in our normal rhythm of life. So hopefully this class will be joining. Make sure that you grab a block to use. If you don't have a block, use anything of this similar size and shape. Okay, all right, let's get going. We're gonna bring our feet in front of us here on the ground, knees up, and then come on to your back. So we're gonna start class by getting the glutes firing and getting some stretch through our upper back here. So we're gonna take the block and we're gonna take it this medium way here, medium thickness, and place it between the upper thighs. So not right between your knee points, but a little bit higher up towards your hips. Squeeze in on that block, and then place your feet down on the ground. You don't want your feet too far in towards your booty there. That's gonna be a lot for the knees. And you don't want them too far forward, because that's gonna put this too much in the hamstrings. So just try to find that nice in between. And feel that when we lift the hips up in a sec here, that you'll feel it in your glutes or your butt muscles and not your low back, okay? So press down through your feet, lift the hips up. I like to keep, especially for the first one, I like to keep my ribs, the back of my ribs on the ground still. So it's not all the way up. I'm gonna lift my hands so you can see I'm not all the way up. I stay a little low and just lift the hips away. That allows me to lengthen my tailbone toward the back of the legs and squeeze those glutes. So then we'll squeeze in on the block as well. So we're starting to build some heat in the lower part of the body. Reach the arms up to the sky, and then we'll interlace our fingers today. So interlace your fingers together so you're making like a fist. And think about this upper portion of your spine. So you want to keep that on the ground. And then push your arms to the sky. So this is protraction of your shoulder blades. So you should feel that your shoulder blades are moving apart on your back, and the upper portion and mid portion of your spine can really push into the mat or into the ground. And then the shoulders are kind of coming forward, like you're rounding your back a little bit. And so just push into the ground with your spine and push your knuckles to the ceiling and press down through your feet. Squeeze your glutes and squeeze in on the block. So we're gonna hold that, keep lifting. You should feel hopefully a nice kind of opening along the upper back. It's an active opening since we're warming up, but it should feel like a little stretch as well. So we'll take one more breath and we'll relax all the way down. Good. Bring your arms out to the sides, palms up, so they're in like a T shape. So your wrists are lined up straight with your shoulder, palm up. And I want you, before we lift the hips again, to reach your arm height and congested in there from having our shoulders rounded forward, from working at the computer, and if you're driving or different things, muscles away from your sternum right there in the center of your chest. And your shoulder bones are kind of lengthening away from you. And you can almost feel this because of the nerves. I can feel this in my fingers as well. I really like that. So you get a little nerve sensation as well, hopefully. So it's an active reaching away, still squeezing the block, still squeezing those glutes. Take one more deep breath. And then lower nice and slow. Good. This time, hands down. Press down through the feet, lift back up. You can lift a little higher now if your glutes are feeling nice and warmed up. And then we'll just reach the arms straight back overhead. So a little different. Want to just feel that you're getting some length through the side bodies. And I almost shrug my shoulders up a little bit here and try to reach my knees in the opposite direction. So my shoulders are kind of moving to the wall behind me and knees are moving forward. So reaching in opposite directions, still feeling this mostly in your glutes and trying to keep your low back nice and soft. So squeezing that block and lengthening through the low back to squeeze those glutes. One more breath here. And then down, nice and slow, and hands back down. All right. So hopefully we're feeling a little bit more warm and open along the back line. So let's get the core going as well. So take the block or whatever you're using instead of the block and make it the skinniest way it will go. And now put it between your knee points. So it's higher up, right in between the bony parts of the inside of the knees. Hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. My thumbs are kind of resting at the base of my skull here, so I can really cup the weight of my head. So I have to use my core muscles and not my neck muscles to get up, okay? So try to feel into that. Elbows towards the sky, big inhale, exhale, lift straight up off your shoulder blades. So just a crunch in the center, but squeeze in on the block between your knees. So we'll just do 5 like that as a little warm up. Inhale down, exhale, lift up. Inhale down, exhale, lift up. So keep the weight of your head in your hands so you're using your core and not your neck to lift up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down and exhale up. Hold it at the top there. This time, squeeze the block and straighten your left leg forward. So you can totally do this without a block. If the prop you're using is just not working, you can still get some good engagement without the block. Foot down and head down. Big inhale. Exhale, lift up. Try to come up off the shoulder blades. Squeeze the belly, so push the belly down into the mat. And then lengthen your right leg. So hold that. Try to take a deep breath. Keep your belly pulling up and in and pressing down to the ground. foot down, and head down. So we're going to keep building upon that. So hopefully we're already feeling a little warmth in the belly. So let's keep building with that. Big inhale. Exhale, lift up. Straighten the left leg again. This time, twist a little bit to the left and just come up off the left shoulder blade. So hold that. Try to take a deep breath. Inhale back to the center, foot down, and head down. Big inhale. Exhale, lift up. Right leg straightens. Twist a little to the right. Come off the shoulder blades. Push the belly into the ground. If you have the block, squeeze that between your knees. Foot down and head down. Good. Take a deep breath. We're going to do that again and then add on one more time. Big inhale. Exhale, lift up. Left leg straightens. Twist a little to the left. Good. Take a deep breath. Smile if you need to. Center, left foot down, and head down. Inhale. Exhale, lift up. Right leg straightens. Twist a little to the right, and come up off. Really feeling that in the belly. So let's do one more round and adding on one more time, okay? You guys can do it. Big inhale, exhale, come up. Lift the left leg straight, squeeze the block. Twist a little to the left, and straighten your right arm on the outside of your left knee. So a little cross-body twist. Try to stay up off that left shoulder blade as much as you can. Try to keep the head relaxed. Hand back behind the head, foot down, and lower. Big inhale, last one here. Exhale, lift up. Right leg straightens. Twist a little to the right. Straighten that left arm out. Try to come up off that right shoulder blade. Keep pushing the belly down. If the belly is burning, just try to breathe through it. It's really good for it. Waken those muscles up. Back to the center, foot down, and head down. Awesome. Take the block out. Keep it by your side because we're going to use the block a decent amount this class. So just keep it within arm's reach. Hands interlaced behind the head. We're going to do one last core move here, but we're going to start waking up the hips a bit more with it. So same position with the hands behind the head, elbows up. Big inhale. On the exhale, just lift up slightly. So you're not coming up all the way like a crunch. Just kind of stay a little bit lower. From here, hold your head up there, keep the core engaged, and just start to bring one leg in at a time. So the knee comes forward or towards you, and then foot down. So we're just gonna march like that. The higher up you are, the harder it is. So try to find that line where you're getting, some definite engagement in the abdominals, but you can still hold it and breathe. So we're starting to move into working on some hip flexion and opening up the backs of the legs, getting some hydration in the hip joints. So just marching the feet out here, keeping the knee bent and the ankle flexed, and just moving from the head of the femur into the hip socket. So a couple more like that. You can always take a break. Good. Feel into that sensation. Breathe into your hips. Good. One more on each side. And all the way down. Nice job. Reach the arms back, take a little stretch for the abdominals, and we'll keep moving. Bring the right knee in, flex the foot. I like to move my left foot just a little further forward just in case I need some extra space for my right leg for this one. We've done this one before. Just a nice rotation through the hip socket to open up and release any connective tissue, gunk that might be in the hip joint. So how I'm doing that, I'm moving my knee in and my foot out. So that's internal rotation of my femur. And then knee out and foot in. So that's external rotation, so outer rotation of my femur. So you want to keep this same line in your foot and knee, and you're just moving from your femur. So you're not moving your ankle at all to do this. It's just a rotation. You can imagine it's a little bit like I don't know what else to compare it to really. It's our, our ball and socket joint. So just kind of imagine that the head of your femur moving and rotating into the hip socket. Should feel really nice. You might feel some engagement on the outside of your right hip. That's definitely good. Those are some of our, rotational muscles that help with this. Couple more like that. I like to do this one almost every day just to really keep that hip joint happy and hydrated. Continue to breathe. This is a nice little break here before we get into the bulk of our movement. But we should definitely feel some heat in that hip still. All right, right foot down, left knee in. You can walk the right foot further forward if you need to. And rotate there. So it's kind of like a little windshield wiper. Getting that rotation in that left hip. Breathing into your belly. Just let your shoulders and head and neck relax. Let all the work happen in the hips there. Right foot is helping our hips to stay neutral. Good. Just breathe nice and deep. Couple more so we can get that those outer hip muscles to engage and to fire up. Those really help with stability and keeping our hips nice and level so that we don't have an uneven pelvis. So we want to make sure those get some love. Good. And down. Grab your block again. We're going to do a nice spinal twist, actually one of my personal favorites. This left leg is going to stay in a 90-degree angle bend in the knee, and just bring the outside of the left leg onto the ground. And then rotate onto your left hip. Your right knee is in a 90-degree angle. Put the block or your prop on the highest level it will go, and then put the inside of your right knee on top. Left arm opens up, and then right arm reaches over, and our arms are in a T position. And try to just shift your shoulders so your chest is going as much up to the ceiling as you can. So the right knee is supported by the block, the left knee, we're on the outside of the left hip and thigh, and the left knee is in a 90-degree angle as well. So nice supine twist here. So nice for the spinal column. When we untwist in a second here, we should feel like this nice relaxing release of synovial fluid through our spinal column, which is just basically fancy talk for like a nice detox for the spine. Keeps the discs in between the vertebrae really happy and nourished and hydrated as well. Take one more deep breath. Good. Back to the center, and we'll just do the other side. So I like to just put my right foot down and then lift and shift my hips back to the center. Take the block into your right hand. Shift your hips over to the left a little. Right knee bends into that 90-degree angle. Bring the left knee on top of the block on that right side. And then left arm opens up and right arm opens up. So you can see from this side now, this bottom leg in that 90-degree angle. And I'm trying to kind of lift and twist and get my chest up to the sky so this left shoulder can stay rooted to the earth here. And so I'm getting the bias of this twist in my lower portion of my spine here. Deep breaths into your belly. One more breath. Grab the block, get it out from under your knee, come back to the center. So from here, we're just gonna come up to kneeling on or standing on our knees. So just come all the way around and stand up on your knees here. Have the block nearby, so we're gonna use it for our sequence. Try to line your hips up with your knees just as if you were still standing. I like to tuck my toes because it helps my glutes engage better, but if it's too much on your knees, you can totally do tops of the feet on the earth, okay? Just do whatever feels most comfortable for the knees here especially. So try to squeeze those glutes. So I try to lengthen my tailbone down here. So I pull the core in, lengthen the tailbone down, and just kind of siphon everything into the center. So this should be nice and stable. Arms out to the sides in a cactus shape, so your elbows are and rotating through your ribs. So you can watch me the first time if you don't know what I'm going for there. So just moving through the center of the core. So right now, I'm trying to not move my hips. So this is what it would look like if I was moving my hips. You can see that kind of shifts my pelvis around a lot. I want you to keep that stable and just move above the hips. So it's gonna feel a little different. You should feel the scapula or the shoulder blades kind of glide along your upper back. And your ribs should feel like the tissues across and in between and around your ribs are kind of getting a little massage. Should feel really nice, hopefully. It doesn't look like much, but it's really good to get some movement into the torso. So do one more side to side there, and then go ahead and slow it down, come to a stop. Grab your block, place the block on the right side of your mat, or just kind of right in line with your right knee, if you're not using a mat. Step your left foot forward, so that your left foot is right in line with your left knee, or your left ankle's in line with your left knee, rather. And squeeze this right glute a lot. From here, hinge from your hips and bring your right palm to the top of the block. So I have it on the lowest setting here. You can always come higher if you need some extra length there through the arms. From here, push down into the block with your right hand to twist through your chest and rotate your ribs and lift your left arm to the sky. Try to keep this right glute on and then release your right ear to your right shoulder. So this should hopefully feel really lovely. I know there's a lot happening, but we want to try to relax into this stretch that we're kind of getting on this left side of the torso. And then actively reach the arms away like you did when we were on our backs at the beginning of class, when our arms were in that T shape and we were reaching the arms away from each other. And we should feel this nice release in the neck here if we're relaxing the right ear to the shoulder. So take one more breath. And then exhale, 90-degree angle in the bottom leg as well. Big inhale, squeeze that left glute. Exhale, hinge forward, left hand on the block, twist through the chest, and reach the right arm to the sky. Once you've gotten that nice twist through the spine, let the left ear relax to the left shoulder, and actively reach the right arm to the sky. Relax here, take some deep breaths. Try to keep lightly toning that left glute. Breathe into the belly. Good. One more breath. Let that head really relax to get some stretch in the neck. Then we'll bring the right arm down. Bring your elbows to the mat or the ground and keep your elbows right underneath your shoulders here. So I have my hands pretty narrow and my elbows pretty narrow as well. My hands are touching. From here, press down into your elbows so you're not sinking in your shoulders like this, okay? So shoulder blades here are too scrunched together. We want some space there. So push into the elbows to lift up, and then relax your head and gaze back towards your knees. So if I'm pressing down into my elbows enough here, then I should be able to have some space between the crown of my head and the mat, just to let my neck relax a little bit here. If you want, you can stay here, or you can just kind of lengthen back and stretch your hips kind of side to side. You can circle out your hips a couple times if you want. So a couple one way and then the other maybe. You want to keep opening up and let your head relax. Take one more deep breath. Push into those elbows, lengthen the spine back. From here, we're going to come into a bent knee forward fold. So if you, I'll try to get you there, but you can feel free to watch. We're going to take our hands back to the ground so we're in the tabletop position. Tuck your toes under if they're not already. Walk your hands back, lift your knees up, keep your knees bent, and then put your hands or your heels on the ground. And your knees are still bent, so you can hopefully reach the ground here. Bend them as much as you need to. I'm trying to keep my spine really long here, and my belly's actually draping onto my thighs. So it's not like your normal kind of yoga where it's like this kind of forward fold. I want it to be a lot more accessible and a little bit better for the hips. So bend the knees, belly on the thighs, and then relax the head. You can clasp opposite elbows and just let the head release here. Maybe shake your head yes or no. Feel some length through the spine. I like this one because I feel like my tension in my back just kind of rolls off the back and onto the ground. So you can kind of feel this like energy of it rolling up to your shoulders and move off and out of your body, hopefully. Take one more deep breath. Feel free to sway side to side if you want. Make sure you're keeping some weight in your heels. And then we'll come back to the ground the same way we came to this position. So we'll just walk our hands forward, bring your knees back down, toes are tucked under. Stand back up on your knees. So hopefully we feel even just a little bit more open and free already. And we're going to keep moving there. We're going to keep moving into that and doing some nice twists and stretches. So we'll do a nice little sequence here, okay? So I will do my best to give good cues, but if you get lost, feel free to take a pause and watch whatever I'm doing on the screen. Take the block again. Same thing as before. We're going to start the same way with that little twist. So right side of the mat or in line with your right knee, more or less. Step your left foot forward. Squeeze the right glute. Lift the right arm up this time. And just feel some length in there. So both legs are in a 90-degree angle there. That allows our hips to be nice and neutral and us to engage that right glute really well. Reach up from under the right arm. Exhale, hinge forward, right hand to the block, push down, twist through the chest, and left arm to the sky. Keep pulling that right shoulder onto the back and let the head relax. So right ear to right shoulder and reach up with that left hand. Breathe deeply into your belly. Good. And then we'll bring the left hand down. Come up nice and slow. You can keep the block. And then side bend to the left here. So I'm using my left hand on my left thigh for kind of like a little kickstand and support, because side bends can feel like a lot and can feel really deep, but they're really good to stretch out this connective tissue and fascial line that we have on our side body. And breathe into that. Breathe into your right lung. Good. Inhale back up to the center. Bring your hands together so you're gonna make fists like this. So tops of your knuckles together. Elbows out to the sides. Pull your shoulders back. We're gonna twist just toward the left and then come back to the center. So an inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left and come back to the center on an inhale. So just slow like that. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. So a couple more. Inhale. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, left. Good. Back to the center. Grab your block. Your block's gonna come with us on this, okay? We're gonna move, but you're gonna take the block with you. Press down into the block, and you can put your left hand down. Lift your right knee. Pivot your feet to the right side of your mat, so you're in a straddle stance. Bend your right knee, and keep your left leg long, so you're in a side lunge. I have the block at this medium level. You can do the high level, you can do whatever you need to. Keep your spine really long. We're gonna move through our shoulder blades to stretch our upper back here. So it's kind of like a cat-cow, if you're familiar with cat-cow. So press down into the block, try to puff up your upper back, and you can even relax your chin to your chest if you want. And then reverse that. So shoulder blades squeeze together, and your belly kind of droops to the ground and gaze a little ahead. And then exhale, round, puff up in between your shoulder blades. So we're gonna do a couple like that. So inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, right knee still bent, left leg long, exhale up. Keep weight into your heels. Inhale down, exhale up. Last one, inhale down, and exhale up. Good. Walk it back to the front. So pivot the feet, toes face forward again. Bring the right knee down, hands to the ground, and left knee back. From here, we're gonna do a knee down, downward dog. So knees stay under the hips. Walk the hands forward and a little wide. Keep your hips nice and lifted, and then kind of start to bring your chest to the ground. So if you're familiar with down dog, it's just this pose with your knees up, but we're staying a little gentler today, so keep the knees on the ground. Really lengthen the hips up and back, and reach the hands forward here. Start to bring the hands back under the shoulders. Now we're in a tabletop position. Take a few normal cat-cows now. So cat-cow is just a little sequence for your spine. So let the chest descend through the shoulders, the belly spills down, and the tailbone lifts up. So I think of making a U shape with my spine. Pull the shoulders onto the back in this one actively. Exhale, round, arch your back. So this one, think about like a Halloween cat you would see, like that little decoration. So arch the spine. Inhale, bring the shoulder blades together. Let the belly spill down. Good. Exhale, round and arch your back. Good. Come back to the center. From here, let me see, I kind of forgot. Oh, yes. All right. Bring your knees together over on the right side of the mat. Bring your left hip down to the ground. So that was here's the transition again. You're in tabletop. Bring your left knee toward your right knee. Bring your left hand down and then onto the left hip so your knees are stacked. Keep your left arm straight, fingers pointed outwards. Take your right foot and hop it over your left knee. So left knee is in like a 90-degree angle, right foot's down with the knee up. We're going for a nice side stretch and neck stretch here. So left elbow stays straight. I'm trying to take this left side of my body and kind of push it to the ground. So it's a little weird because the elbow stays really locked here. We don't normally do that. But I want to feel that I'm kind of dripping the left side of my rib cage down to the ground, and then let your chin relax to your chest. So it's okay if this left shoulder comes up toward your left ear a lot, like a shrug. We kind of want that. We want to feel this stretch on the left side, and then chin to chest. So breathe nice and deeply. Good. And then we'll come up nice and slow. So we'll come out of that the same way we came in. So take this right foot, bring it back on top of the left, hands back down to the mat, lift your hips back up, and come to that tabletop position. To the side and stand up on your knees. So that was one side of the sequence. So we're going to do that all again on the other side. So now you might know a little bit more what's coming, and you can really feel into the stretch, hopefully. And hopefully it felt really nice. I love this little sequence. So step your right foot forward, tuck your back toes, if you can, and that feels okay on your left knee. Bring the block down there. Reach the left arm up, lengthen through the left fingertips, and squeeze the left glute. Get lots of length through the spine. Good. Breathe nice and deep. Keep some tone in that left glute. Good. One more deep breath. Hinge forward and bring the left hand to the block. Twist through the chest. Reach your right arm to the sky. Pull that left shoulder back and let the left ear relax to the shoulder. Reach up through the right fingertips. Keep breathing. Nice deep breaths into the belly. Keep a light tone on that left glute. Reach up through those right fingertips. Relax the neck. You might even get some nice little cracks in the neck. I don't know if all of us are seeing chiropractors right now, so that can feel good. Take one more breath, and then bring that hand down. Stand up again into that low lunge. This time, right hand rests on the right thigh. Lift the left arm up. Squeeze the left glute. Pull the belly in. Reach up with those left fingertips and over to the right. So a nice little side bend. We should feel a stretch, hopefully, in the front of the left hip and on the outside of the left hip and into the left ribs. You can let the head relax here as well. Breathe into the belly and especially into the left side of your rib cage. Breathe nice and deep. Good. Come all the way back up. Good. And then bring the hands together in that little shape. So the tops of the fists together there. So the back of your hand is pointing outwards. And then elbows out to the side and pull the shoulders back. Big inhale in the center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. So it's like what we were doing when we did this little rotation. Hips stay nice and stable here. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Two more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. Back to the center again. Hinge forward. This time we're bringing the block with you. I'm going to face away from you. So that's what will happen. So press that into the block. Lift your left knee up. Pivot to the left. Feet will pivot with you to the left side of your mat. Bring the block under your hands. Bend the left knee and keep the right leg long. We'll start with those little cat-cow movements through our arms and shoulders and spine here. So press down into the block, chin to chest on an inhale. Exhale, relax, bring the shoulder blades together. Gaze a little forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Take a big inhale. Exhale, press into the block. Chin to chest, round the spine. Inhale down. Exhale, puff up in between the shoulders. 2 more. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Good. We're going to pivot back to the front. So toes pivot back forward. You can bring the block with you. First knee down, right knee back. Block off to the side. Keep the knees under the hips. Walk the hands forward. Hips stay really high. And then chest comes down to the ground. Press into the hands and lengthen the spine back. So my shoulder blades kind of glide up a little bit toward my ears so I can get the spine really long and lift up actively through the hips. So we want to feel like the hips are the apex of this pose here. So pressing actively into the hands. Your forearms can totally be down, but try to keep it nice and active here. That's going to give you the best stretch underneath your armpits there into the lats and the delts. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Slide the hands back under the shoulders. We're in our tabletop position. Big inhale to the back. Gaze toward the top of your mat. Exhale, arch the spine, chin in towards the chest, and round everything up. Inhale, shoulders together, gaze ahead, belly down, tailbone up. Exhale, arch the spine, press actively into your hands. 1 more like that. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. Back to the center. So this time over to the left side. So knees come over to the left. Right, walk your right hand a little forward. Pivot and bring your right knee, hip to the ground. Take this left leg, bring it up, and left foot comes on the upper side of the right thigh. Let the left side of your ribs drip down to the ground so this right shoulder can really come up towards the ear, and then relax your chin toward your chest. 2 deep breaths here. Hopefully this should feel really nice. It's a very weird, uncommon stretch, but these muscles can get really tight on the side body here. So putting some weight into them and getting them into a lengthened position can get us a really nice stretch. 1 more breath. Good. And then we'll come up nice and slow. Bring this left leg back on top of the right. Stack your knees there. Both hands to the ground. Lift the hips back up. And we're back in a tabletop position. Bring your toes together and your knees wide. Press your hips back and walk your arms forward for a child's pose. So we're in a nice long position with the spine. Arms are reaching forward and hips are reaching back. Knees are out towards the edges of the mat here to give our torso some space to move back. We're going to lift just a little higher up and walk our hands over to the right. So one thing I see often with people in this pose when I'm trying to get them a nice little side stretch here is that people will just walk their hands and they'll stay in the center with their spine. So I want you to move your spine with your arms so you bring almost your right shoulder to your right knee, and then you can relax your forehead down and really reach through those left fingertips. So the left hip is reaching back and down, and the left fingertips are reaching forward, and we should get a really nice stretch on that left side, into the left low back, under the left side of the arm. This is a big fascial line here. Take 1 more breath. Good, and then we'll bring it over to the left side. So we'll walk our hands and our spine will follow over to the left, so left shoulder is by the left knee, and then reach the right arm forward as well. Relax the head down and kind of wiggle those right fingertips forward. Press back and down with your right hip and breathe deep. Try to breathe into that right side of the ribs. One more deep breath. Good. Back to the center. Stay a little high. Take your right arm and slide it underneath your left arm. So your right shoulder is on the ground and your right ear is on the ground. Reach the left fingertips forward. Keep the arm a little lifted. So no forearm on the ground on the left side. Just keep that up. So we're pressing into the left palm. So we're getting a nice little upper spine twist. Breathe into the back of your right shoulder. Just staying here for a second. Good. Slide your left hand back, press into your left hand to come back up, and we'll do the other side. Walk it a little forward, slide the left arm underneath, and reach the right arm forward. Left palm is up, left ear on the ground, push into that right hand. Breathe into the back of your left shoulder. Take some deep breaths. Slide your right hand back, press into the right hand to come up. Walk your hands forward, lift your hips up. We're gonna come onto our back. We're gonna end out class on our back here with a couple last stretches. So come all the way back down onto your back. Take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Bring your left thigh in towards you. Try to do that from your hip and without rounding your back. So that's the biggest thing I see here that puts this more as a back stretch instead of a hip stretch for people. So femur comes in, and my whole spine in the back of my hips is on the ground still. So aim for that as much as you can. Your knee, and it causes you to round your back too much. So a strap or a sweatshirt or a resistance band can often help with that. But if you can, use your fingers, and then you can try to breathe into the hips there. Keep both feet flexed. We're going to take a little side-to-side movement there. That can feel really nice on that right hip. Try to keep the shoulders relaxing back and down. And we're going to do some variations of this pose. However, if we start to do some of them and they're feeling not as good as this, please feel free to stay here. This is what the options I'm giving are just for fun, because this pose is pretty normalized now. It's fun to try some other things. But if this pose just feels really great, just go ahead and stay here, okay? Release your hands to the ground if you'd like to try something different. And start to bring your legs over to the left. If that's really deep immediately, you can bring your left foot down and use it more as a kickstand. I'm going to keep my knee a little further up. And then I like to bring my legs all the way over, and my right foot is even on the ground, but I can still have my right shoulder on the earth here, which is what we want to aim for. Take one more deep breath. Good. And then you can either stay here again, or if you want to try one last thing on this side, start to take this right arm, roll up onto your left shoulder, bring your right forearm to the ground, lift up, and come onto your left forearm as well. So my legs stayed in the same exact position as before, but just rotated more through my spine. One more breath. And then we're going to undo that, okay? So lift up, left arm long, left shoulder down, bring the right shoulder back down, legs back to the center, and both feet down. So onto the right side now. Left foot on top of the right knee. Pull the right knee in, try to hinge from the hips and keep the spine on the ground. Stay here if you want. Just breathing into that left hip, interlacing the hands behind the right leg. Keep the shoulders on the earth. Keep the whole spine pressing down if you can. Take one more breath. If you'd like to try that same variations again, go ahead and release your hands out to the sides. Start to take your legs over to the right, either placing your right foot down or just using your core and controlling your descent to the right. Left shoulder stays on the ground. Left foot can try to find the earth there. And take a deep breath here. Try to push that left leg a little forward. Good. If you want to take that option again, start to roll onto your right shoulder. Kind of continue it around. Bring your left forearm down, lift up, and bring both forearms to the earth. Just a nice, really nice hip stretch and spinal twist here. Good. Left hand back down. Use your left hand into the earth to help you come back down to the ground. So right shoulder back down. Unfurl back to the left and open the chest. And then legs back to the center. Both feet down, knees up. We're just going to take one last stretch here. Reach your legs forward. Lengthen out, toes forward, arms back. Reach in opposite directions. And relax. You can feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up class to honor your guys' time. But if you have the time, I'd encourage you to stay here for, 3 to 5 minutes just to really let everything settle back into the center and absorb the practice. If you need to move on with me, go ahead and take your legs over to one side. Press your hand into the earth and come up to a seat. You can sit however you'd like. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and reach your spine nice and long. Let's take 2 breaths together here to end class. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. Thank you guys so much for joining me for class today. I hope that this leaves you feeling really fluid and free through your joints and through your spine. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys in a few weeks. Bye.